The 7-minute miracle: pride, hospitality, and excellence in every detail. You're gonna love this video. This video comes from Tessé and Mr. Yabe, who led an effort to literally turn cleaners on the Shinkansen train in Japan into famous world performers. And it's really quite remarkable. And you can do the same thing with your people in your company and on your job sites tomorrow. And so I'm super excited about this. I've said this in a different video, but let me quickly recap. Mr. Yabe said, if TPS, Toyota Production System, and Lean are the seeds you want to plant in your organization, and your organization and the people are the ground. In order for those seeds to actually get in the soil, take root, and grow, you have to have Kaizen. And Kaizen doesn't just mean to make better or to improve for spot Kaizen or system Kaizen or more radical improvements, right? What it means is that you have a love for the customer, pride in your workmanship, and employee acknowledgement. And so basically, what Mr. Yabe did was he talked to the people and said, you're not just cleaners. You are pivotal to this operation, and you are the pride of the Japanese country, of this nation. And they were like, yeah, I am doing it. Okay, this is great. All right, then started to implement really nice uniforms and better tools and equipment that suited the employees and started allowing them to dress up for holidays. They're having fun. They're doing their thing. They're like feeling more in their element. Then started to teach them about customer service and interacting with the client in a way that was dynamic. They wrote a book about how to interact with people, and they created what's called the Angel Report, which is that managers or leads would notice things that the cleaners would do for the customers on the Shinkansen and send it all the way to the top dog. Now, they don't really work like that, but to the senior most person at Tessé. That would be turned into presentations or videos, and they would get shouted out, and it would actually be reflected in their pay. And so all kinds of wonderful things that like we used to hear in the United States that Southwest Airlines would do that they don't do anymore. This just started happening like crazy. Like I remember in Southwest, I remember one time that I took my kids on a flight and they were scared, and the pilot saw them and said, hey, can you guys come in? I could almost cry when telling the story. Brought them into the cockpit, sat them down in the chairs, was talking to them. They were immediately calmed down. Southwest used to do that all the time. They don't do it anymore. That's what they did in the 7-minute miracle. Helping mothers, children, bringing lost items to people, going the extra mile. It was phenomenal. And the other thing that they started doing was listening to all of the cleaners. What do you need? Instead of a big broom, they got small brooms. Instead of big buckets, they had the pouches made. Instead of having things in both of your hands, they were able to attach the broom onto the person, and they noticed injuries were cut down dramatically because when they were coming down from the second level, their hands weren't all full and they weren't tripping anymore. They were able to use the handrail. So they're making improvement after improvement after improvement. And then they would get off the train and they were taught to bow, and then people on the platform would clap for them. And then people started to come look at the operation, and everything spiraled upwards into this beautiful thing that they now call the 7-minute miracle. This train is cleaned in 7 minutes. They've got 2 minutes to get the passengers off. They've got 7 minutes to clean it, and they've got 4 minutes to get people back on. It's phenomenal to watch. I actually saw them, and they're in a rhythm, and they're doing their thing, and then they're doing their point and call, and then they move out, and then they come out, and they bow to the crowd, and we're just going crazy, and it's a show. How do we turn our job sites into a show? How do we make workers so proud because we're touring people through that they want to take pride in their work? How do we acknowledge them to where they feel special? How can they find a love for their client and what they're doing on the job site so much that they want to go the extra mile? How can we like literally help them to take pride in their work? Here's the truth, and people argue with me all the time, and I'm sorry if anybody disagrees with me. They're wrong and I'm right, and you're just going to have to listen to me. On the jobs that I ran as a superintendent, we did not have graffiti, we did not have pee in bottles, and we did not have vandalism. It's not normal. Humans want to take care of their environment, they want to do a good job, and they want to be respectful. If you have graffiti and pee in bottles and vandalism, your workers hate you, and it's because of the way they're treated. And so you have to, as a general contractor, get them all morning worker huddle. You've got to talk them up, praise them, and have them believe in their work. You got to turn it into a show. You got to start acknowledging people, and they've got to have a personal connection with you. I could run a site with 8,000 workers on it tomorrow, and it might take me a couple of days or a couple of weeks, but you wouldn't have any graffiti, you wouldn't have any trash, you wouldn't have any pee in bottles, you wouldn't have any vandalism, because I know how to turn the job site into a 7-minute miracle, and you do too. It just takes a lot of courage, and I'm not going to hear it anymore. People are like, well, you don't understand. This is stick frame. I'm in the northern part of Canada. I'm in the southern part of the United States. I'm in Mexico. I'm in Europe. I'm on a tilt-up building. I'm on wood frame. I'm on 1.5 billion. I'm on a remodel. I just saw a whole country of 130 million people do this. We can do it 100%. So the 7-minute miracle is all about turning the environment into a state, or creating it to where the people want to do a good job because they already naturally do. So the challenge is, how can you turn your job site into a show and really acknowledge the work of every single human being and make them feel valued for their contribution? Because remember, human beings need connection, measurement, and relevance. Somebody to connect with them, and it's got to be the GC and the trade partner. Measurement, how are we winning on this job for the customer? And relevance, how am I relevant to this project? And if I'm pissing in bottles and if I'm graffitiing all over everything, it means that's the only way I can rebel, because I'm being treated poorly. So if you stop treating people poorly, it will all change. So this is absolutely phenomenal. Please see what you can do with this tomorrow. I hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.